If we are to select and prepare the new generation of teachers equipped with the knowledge, skills, and values to help their culturally different and socially advantaged students to learn to resolve conflicts peacefully, to respect each other's dignity and cultures, and to become socially responsible citizens, significant changes are needed. Good day, everyone. I am Merlyn Cuantioso, your discussant, and our topic is all about the changing global landscape for the 21st century teachers. But before we proceed to our discussion, let me read you our learning outcomes. First, identify the different changes occurring in the global teaching learning landscape. Second, identify the 21st century life and career skills for learners and teachers. And third, demonstrate understanding of the UNESCO's 4 pillars of learning as this apply to the 21st century. This lesson is all about the changing global landscape in teaching and learning brought about by factors such as the learning environment, content and process of learning, types of learners, and other parameters of learning in the 21st century. In this lesson, the lesson 3, will present how these changes will addressed by the principles underpinning the UNESCO's pillar of learning, the learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together from Delors' report on learning the treasure from within. So the meaning of UNESCO is United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. The changing global landscape in the 21st century skills for teachers. We are in an era of borderless, flat world. Barriers have been broken by new information and communication. Globalization has opened doors that led nations to coexist and be interdependent. However, the common future will still be more dependent on the knowledge, skills, and values of its people. Thus, globalization can be the response. So today, we are in the new generation or what they called millennials, and we encountered lots of discoveries. For example, technologies which may help us to easy to communicate to others, and of course, it has a big help to our teachers and to our future learners. So in this era, we are in borderless or what we say without boundaries between countries, administrative divisions, or other areas. So, barriers have been broken by new information and communication technologies. Of course, we are borderless, so globalization opened doors that drove nations to coexist and be interdependent. As future teachers of the 21st century, there is an urgent need to understand the new landscape that is brought about by the changes in leaps and bounds of the century. Furthermore, the development of the 21st century skills is a necessary tool for teachers. Without these 21st century tools, no teachers can survive. So 2006, as mentioned in SEAMEO ENOTech 2011, or the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization Innovation Technology, identified some significant categories of the many changes and development in the 21st century teaching and learning. To understand the categories, we will attempt to first, describe the new learning environment. Second, identify the new learning contents. Third, explain the new processes of learning and how this will be facilitated. 4, describe the new types of learners. And lastly, describe the new types of teachers. Okay, so let's move on to the new learning environment. The idea of learning environment has broadened from the confines of the 4 walls of the classroom to places and spaces that support learning. It is a place where interactions of the learners among one another, with the teacher and surroundings happen. So, the concept of a learning environment has expanded beyond the 4 walls of the classroom. that includes environments and settings that foster learning. Of course, classroom, it is a setting or a place where interactions between students and teachers takes place, or where the students can learn and have fun while giving them the support they need. So, the new learning environment has characterized by the following. So, the first is learner-centered. So, when we say learner-centered, the focus of the teachers are in the learners, or the aim is to develop the learners, their capability, and their learning. Second, use spaces and borderless. So the learners are free and they have a capability of their own while they're learning. So the students are freely to share their knowledge, and of course they are free to learn. The third one is enhanced opportunity for creativity innovations. So as a 21st century future teachers, it is important that our learners should learn and enhance their opportunity for creativity and innovations. We teachers are responsible for them to learn and encourage them to let them show their creativity, their skills, and their talents. And the last one is the use of ICT. So we are in the new generation and there's a lot of changes that happen, and one of these is we have now the discoveries like technologies. So we are able to use any technologies, and it might help to our future learners to be to be them to think critically. So the learning environment of our future learners have changed. We have this new learning environment that could help students foster learning. Next is the new learning content. With the new learning environment and the explosion of knowledge content, or subject matter of learning has been modified from a specific discipline or subject area. Subject matter of learning has the following characteristics. So, the new learning content is characterized by the following. First, integrated or interdisciplinary. Second, demand-driven. Third, emphasis on learning tools on how to retrieve knowledge. And fourth, balance of scientific, technological, cultural, global, local concepts. So, the next is the new process of learning and how this will be facilitated. With advancement in the study of the mind and cognition, various processes of learning evolved with human intervention of teachers and peers, as well as non-human intervention of artificial intelligence or AI of robots. With these advancements, different process of learning and the methods to facilitate this have evolved. So these include the idea of multiple ways of learning, which can be mediated by the following. So first is face to face. When learners and teachers are confined in the same learning space at the same time, with the teacher facilitating learner. So, the face to face is like it is the interaction of teachers and learners inside the classroom, or like what we have done today. We have now the face to face classes. And second is distance learning. So, distance learning, when teaching learning is mediated by traditional or in modules in print or modern technologies or online or offline without the physical presence of the teachers in a virtual class. It can be synchronous or asynchronous. So, the distance learning is where the teachers have given the learners the printed module, or it is done with virtual meeting. For example, last year 2020 2021, most of schools are having a virtual class because of pandemic. So the teachers giving the learners the modules. So it is distance learning because the teachers and learners are far away from each other. The next is blended modalities. So the blended modalities, it is done through face-to-face or either virtual classes where the teachers and learners have both physically presence and physically absence. And next is experiential lifelong. So when learners are immersed into the real life situation. So let's move on to the new types of learners. So the new types of learners, no age boundaries or no age limit. So either all students, either young and old, are free to have education and learn. So the new type of learners is a confident person who thinks independently and critically and who communicates effectively. A new type of learner is self-directed and who questions, reflects, and takes responsibilities for his or her own learning. The new type of learner is a concerned citizen, informed about the world and local affairs, has a strong sense of civic responsibilities, and participates actively in improving the lives of others. And the new type of learner is a member of the new generation. Pop culture, different ways of thinking, and responsible and responding. Furthermore, the new types of learners are those coming from diverse background, multicultural and multi-generational, as coming from different age groups of lifelong learners. So, in order for every learner to address the challenges of the century, he or she has to develop life and career skills. Life and career skills are enhanced in schools as part of the learning outcomes. So, what are the characteristics of learners who have developed life and career skill? How can teachers enhance these skills in every learner? What are these life and career skills? So these are the life and career skills. So first is flexibility and adaptability. So learners adapt to various roles, responsibilities, and schedules despite the complex condition. They are able to do the different tasks at one time. Second is initiative and self-direction. So um a learner should be a self-directed learners demonstrate life and career skills. Goals are set and managed by themselves. So these type of learners are they are capable of doing so without being told by anyone. So they take initiatives and they plan and work out their plans. Next is social and cross-cultural skills. So this life and career skills requires learners to respect cultural differences and work effectively with others to be open-minded to different ideas in order to innovate and improve quality of work. Next is productivity and accountability. So, individuals who possess these skills are able to produce results. So, they respect teamwork and cooperation. They manage time very well and can do multitask. Next is leadership and responsibility. A learner should it should be a learner here in leadership and responsibilities. So, learners are good leaders who use interpersonal and problem solving skills. And let's move on to the new type of teachers. Teachers for the 21st century learners teach within the context of new environment, new content or knowledge, and new process of teaching and learning. So, the new type of teachers must possess the following characteristics. First, clear standards and accountability that their learners should know and be able to do at the end of their schooling. Second, use broad pedagogies including inquiry-based learning, cooperative learning, other pedagogies. Third, skillful in the integration of ICT in pedagogy. Fourth, skillful in the use of assessment to guide teaching and learning. Fifth, great understanding of local and global cultures. Sixth, skillful in action, research to diagnose and solve classroom problems based on evidence. Seventh, practice the core values of inspiring teachers. And lastly, the eighth, develop life and career skills for the 21st century and beyond. Okay, so let's go to letter B, UNESCO's Four Pillars of Learning from Delors report, Learning a Treasure from Within. When Jacques Delors wrote a report for the UNESCO entitled Learning a Treasure from Within, it was because he believes that within each child lies a treasure. The four pillars are seamlessly linked to each other. UNESCO's four pillars of learning are learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together. Okay, so what is learning to know? Learning to know, this implies thirst for knowledge and acquisition of such knowledge. It is learning how to learn throughout one's life. After completing formal education, there should be a great desire to gain more understanding of the world and other people. An individual who is knowledgeable is literate. Being literate is always related to being knowledgeable. Thus, the definition of the word literacy evolved through time. So, here are some definitions made by the UNESCO. So, how is literacy defined? In 1958, UNESCO defined literate as one who can, with understanding, both read and write. In 1970, a functionally literate person is one who can engage in an activities to use reading, writing, and calculation for the community's development. And on 2000, literacy was defined as the ability to read and write with understanding a simple statement related to one's daily life. However, the UNESCO International Expert meeting in 2003 redefined literacy as the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, and compute using printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. So, the second pillar of learning is learning to do. Learning by doing is pragmatist view of life. Knowledge acquired is nothing unless applied in daily life. And the third one is learning to be. So, learning to be, one of the most difficult things to do among the pillars is learning to be. It's because it implies developing potentials of each individual. Continuing education must improve self knowledge and self esteem. And the last one, or the fourth pillar, is learning to live together. So, this refers to the relationships among people. It is bringing in together a community to work harmoniously, to live in peace and prosperity, and to show respect and concern for others. And it also refers to interpersonal skills that will enable people to live side by side with others at home, in school, in the community, and the whole world. So, all pillars are interrelated with each other as basic principles. One pillar will not function if it stands alone. There is a need to connect in order to address the 21st century demands for teaching and learning. So, that sums up my discussion. I hope you learned something.